Hello, beloveds, and welcome back to the Enlightened podcast. I am your host, Uluyanda Kumbuza, and welcome to the space where we are redefining what it truly means to thrive in today's world of work. This episode I've been particularly excited about because my guests this season have just been giving, right? So we talk a lot about success, performance, strategy, but what does that really look like when it also comes to making sure that while attaining all of that, you are living well, right? To lead with ambition, but without sort of abandoning that alignment. Today, we're learning from someone who has made wellness a way of life, a blueprint for sustainable leadership. Which brings me to my guest, Mrs. Mom, your girl pal, Mpoomy Ledwaba, who is the founder and CEO of Wisdom and Wellness. She's a best-selling author and one of South Africa's leading voices on holistic living. She blends a sharp business instinct with inner work, teaching millions across her platforms how to build meaningful, sustainable lives from inside out. In every season, she models what it truly means to be a balanced boss.
Sure, I'm going to take you everywhere to introduce me. I'm like, what is this? Are you talking about me?
Please.
Yes.
Welcome to the Enlightened podcast.
Thank you. I'm so glad we're finally doing this.
I don't take this moment for granted.
Yeah.
With everything that has been happening, the work that you do, I think just having this time with you means a lot.
Yeah. And I'm so glad. I mean, I think of our journey. We started at the first ever business I ever did at a Nino. And you were a student and you were sitting on the floor. And I remember you lifting your hand and asking a question. And I was just like, there's something about that.
Oh.
I'll never, ever forget that moment.
And since then, we have been inseparable. I've been a big fan of the work that she does. And I know you have as well. And I think when we were working on the season of Soft Strength, and we came to the topic of a balanced boss, there was nobody else.
Sure.
Not that there's no one else that can do it, but I think knowing you were literally the right person. And I think when you hear the term balanced boss, what does that mean to you, right? Beyond the aesthetics, let's go with the non-negotiable, the boundaries that make you the balanced boss that you are.
Yo, I don't know if I want to take the title of balanced boss because I feel like that's a lot of pressure. And also, I don't think there is such a thing as balance. But I do think that with every season, you have to be... I think every season requires a specific vision where boundaries are established. So I will have seasons like now, we're in our Speak Life September season where everything comes after my my workout. Everything comes after my spending time with God, my meditation time. So my day doesn't start before 11 during this time. But in January, it's a completely different thing. So but also my kids just started, my daughter just started grade 1. So for me right now, that's a priority. So I'm saying no more to opportunities. And I know it's not always going to be the case. And sometimes I sit and I think, like, what if I'm running opportunities for myself? Like, I could go higher, I could do more, etc. But then I think there's only going to be one grade 1. And right now, it's very important for me to be plugged in. And so that's why you're not seeing me at events. You're not seeing me doing a whole lot of other things outside of my own business. So, I think essentially bringing it down to every season requires a boundary. And you have to decide that what is the boundary for this season. Less family time. And be okay with that's what you're doing because you're focusing on this. And in some season, it's like, I'm not the star at work because I want to be the star at home.
Sure.
Yeah.
But tell me, how did you master keeping and living within your boundaries? And I know that it's easy for somebody, to tell us, Uguti, there's power in saying no and no is a full sentence. But how did you learn to believe it for yourself first before people could actually respect it when they hear you say it?
Sure. I think it comes with burnout. I am no stranger to burnout. And, I was actually on my way here. My manager from work sent me a message. They just had status. So I missed status today. And she said, the team just told me you want to do ABC. It's a no. And she was telling me that it's a no, and I got it, and I didn't even argue with her, and I said, okay, I understand. And I realized that a lot of people struggle with doing stuff. I struggle with not doing stuff.
Me too.
With not doing stuff, meaning I'm prone to burnout. I'm prone to not enjoying the things that I'm passionate about, or even feeling like what God has called me to do is starting to feel like a burden more than a blessing because I'm overcommitted. And so I've had to learn. In fact, I am still learning that saying no is in protection of me and in respect of the work that I do, and just also in respect to my family and myself. And one of the things I love saying that I'm learning to believe is that when people are well, they show up well.
Sure.
But if I am overcommitted, I could give you my yes, but my yes will mean nothing because I'm here and I'm thinking of the next thing, or I'm tired and I'm resentful. So I'm learning that my no is out of respect and love for the next person.
Sure. As the founder of Wisdom and Wellness, I wouldn't sleep at night because I'm thinking that people expect me to be up at 5:00.
Yeah.
People expect me to just always have my stuff in order, my house in order.
Yeah.
What are some of those daily habits or weekly, rhythms that keep you grounded while you lead? And I think, these are things that I believe help you run your business in the way that you do, right? Those habits and your rituals that anchor and move the needle within your life and your business.
I always say the strategy comes from the Holy Spirit. So if I don't spend time with God, the Holy Spirit, there is no strategy. There is no creativity. He is the author. And so for me, my time in the morning with God is a non-negotiable. If you want to meet a horrible person, take away my time. Like I always say, my family knows, like, if I don't get my morning time, I'm not the person you are.
Unhappy wife.
By nature, I'm not her.
Yeah.
But because I spend time with the Holy Spirit and I get to read the word, and sometimes it's just sitting there and listening to worship music, because it doesn't always feel like, my time of worship. Sometimes it's like, my time of worship, but if I don't do that, then I'm not able to show up as the person I need to be. So that's the first thing. Secondly, working out. But working out has movement. Let me use movement. Movement has shifted for me. I was thinking it's our 7th year of Speak Life September. When we started out, I was boxing. I was
in it.
Listen, 5 a.m. I was at the gym every single day. I don't know how, but I was also like 24 and my business was not that established. But now movement looks like a 1-hour walk, a slow walk where sometimes I leave my watch at home because I am competitive. So in order to not calculate my pace and everything, movement, I have to get movement to get my body to just release all those happy hormones. Another non-negotiable is my love language is touch, physical touch. So I need a hug. I need a hug from my husband, from my kids. Like I need to be touched and kissed. And
you're such a mom.
I'm such. So yeah, I think those count. I'd love to get better at food, my relationship with food. I'd love to get better at that. But I mean, today I woke up and I had yogurt and strawberries and I enjoyed it. But sometimes I wake up and not eat and drink coffee.
Oh, I love coffee.
I love coffee. But yeah, I think those things, and it doesn't always look perfect every day, but that's what anchors me. And waking up early. I really believe waking up early. Like if you wake up at 7, it's like, why does my back hurt?
At 7?
Yeah. So if I'm sleeping in, it means I'm waking up at about 6:30. That's like, I'm sleeping.
Oh my God.
Yeah, don't be that visitor of okay.
So, and I think, even when I was preparing, these are things that I believe you do so well. And I want to talk about them, right? Where have you had to sort of unlearn, or when did you unlearn the hustle for worthiness concept, right? Because you've now replaced that with a much more softer and wiser power, right? That the rat race is not the success, like how we know it to be.
Yeah.
What was that turning point for you?
When you reach success and it's not that sweet.
Ooh.
We think that we have this mentality of goalposts, that when I get there, when this happens, when I make this amount of money, da 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 da. And the plus side of being an A-type personality or someone who works really hard, and that's by nature, you know. I'm naturally driven, naturally hardworking, naturally energetic. And the plus side of that is that you get to do a lot of things and you get to accomplish things at a young age. And I've experienced that. And then I accomplished certain things and my life didn't feel better. To a certain extent, it felt worse, you know. And Aunt Gail, my late Aunt Gail, used to always say, Mpoomy, just because something is working doesn't mean God is in it.
I just heard it in her voice.
Yeah. And I get so angry because I'd literally be sharing like a big moment. And she was one person who was very honest with me. And she's like, you know, just because it's working does not mean God is in it. And I get what she meant now is that oftentimes I lacked peace while having the crown of victory.
Yeah.
And so I knew that this is not how I want my life to feel. And I knew that this is not what I want to model for my kids. I don't wish that season away. I think to a certain extent it was very important. And for me personally, I think I needed it, and disciplines were I established disciplines that I needed. But then, like with all things, it's seasonal. I had to come to a place where I'm like, hustle is not the way forever. And I don't want to, I felt a responsibility even as an influencer that, you know, this can't be all you're showing, because it's like, what are you saying? The whole meaning of life isn't hustle. There's so much more. There is a time where hustle is important, don't get me wrong, but it's not the whole thing. It's not the whole story.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've already alluded and spoken a bit about the boundaries. But for you, what are the boundaries that protect your peace specifically? And focus?
The boundaries that protect my peace and focus. I think my husband is very good at reminding me of my boundaries, which I tend to forget when I'm excited. So I will, it
happens a lot.
Like, I'll be very excited and I feel like I can show up for everyone and show up for everything and do this and do that and do that. And I think he's become that voice for me. To a certain extent, I almost want to say I don't fully trust that I can adhere to my own boundaries that protect my peace, because like I said, when I'm on, I can take over the world. And so he has been that. But another boundary that we've recently established is in terms of work. I used to work almost every weekend. So Monday to Friday is like wisdom and wellness, and then Saturday it's Mpoomy Ledwaba doing speaking engagements, etc. And so then I just said we no longer take speaking engagements every Saturday, you know. Doesn't matter how much they're offering, where it is, maximum 2 in certain seasons. In August, I didn't take anything over the weekend. During my kids go on 1-month holidays, I completely go offline. During that time, I go to the beach. And those are boundaries.
Loves Cape Town.
I love Cape Town. But now I've fallen in love with Durban too, because my sister's there. Yes, and the beach is warmer there because of the kids. Yeah. So those are my hard stops that I've established now. And one of the pacts that we've made with my husband is that for every fast stint there has to be a holiday. So after fast, I have to rest. I have to rest. It's a non-negotiable. Yeah.
You lead a community and a company, right? What systems help you scale without sacrificing your wellness? Because I'm new in the business of wellness.
Yeah.
So, and also you're not worrying just about your own wellness, but also the wellness of the people that are now in the business.
Yeah. So that's actually something we focused on this year. That's what 2020 was about. I don't know if you know this, but this is the first year I have a full team on board.
Yes, I do.
So before I had a part-time team and I was in overdrive, because you can imagine how many things we do at Wisdom and Wellness. And this year, part of the goal was to bring on people who would see the brand beyond myself, and where there's continuity, whether I'm offline or online, meaning obviously systems put on paper. And I think simply put, hiring the right team that's not only talented but also skilled, and also has a really good work ethic. So that was the first step for me, and very invested. So when we go on fast, everyone in my team must fast. Otherwise, it's just part of the brand. You have to be plugged in, and then the second thing was, the goal was, we have to build the business or package everything in such a way that if someone comes tomorrow and says, hey, I want to buy this, we should be able to say, sure, have a look, which I think a lot of Black businesses are not taught to do that. So our things are not systemized. Our payroll, our HR, our taxes, etc., etc. So I had to get an HR person. I had to get a tax person, etc. And with the team, we've ensured that we have software that we use to ensure that everyone's tasks are done in such a way that they duplicatable. Is that a word? Duplicable or duplicatable?
Duplicatable.
You can duplicate them.
Somebody else can come in.
Somebody else can stay in the position and follow the structures. And I think that's essentially what systems are. And so, like I said, in August, I was on holiday, but the business continued. And you wouldn't know that I'm on holiday because systems have been set up. We're not fully there yet, but I think we've come a very, very long way. Yeah. And we're learning on the go.
How hard was that?
Very hard.
From doing everything yourself. Yeah. And now you're probably just showing up. You strategize and then
I show up.
So you are nowhere in between.
I'm not.
And for somebody that loves control, what are your hands doing at that moment?
I want to say hard, but then I thought about it that actually I'm also enjoying it a lot, but I'm learning to trust the people that I've put there. Like I said earlier this morning, I was told, no, we're not doing that, and I have to be like, okay, I am the boss. I could say we're doing it, but part of trusting the team is that they don't have to sing dance to my tune all the time. They don't have to just say yes to everything. And the second thing, I think it's been amazing because we've been able to not just do what Mpoomy likes. Whereas most of the things that were established in wisdom and wellness were, this is what I like to do. This is what I believe in. But the conversations have started to shift because my team comes from different backgrounds. We have different pain points. And now we're better able to serve our community better. And what's been hard? Knowing that you have to pay a number of people every single month, whether I can or I can. But the Lord has been faithful. We haven't missed a payroll. So, I wouldn't say it's been hard. I think the time is right. Yeah.
And I think I'll be doing an injustice to my audience, especially those that, hope to build businesses one day. I want to speak a little bit about, money, mission, and mental clarity. Because
you want to speak about
money, mission, and mental clarity.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that ties in very well with, running a wellness organization, even for yourself, right? How do you sort of keep finances or even brand partnerships with the business now? Doesn't have to particularly with you as a person, and growth decision aligned to the values? Because like you said, the check may be big, but it's not aligned to the vision, objective of the organization. And now you've got people that you also need to take care of. So how do you sort of keep or strike a balance, or rather make value-led decisions even in hard moments like that?
Yeah, I think that's such a brilliant question. And I want to give you the holistic answer and say, I just know that this doesn't fit, and we just say no and we'll figure it out. But that's not the truth. The truth is that we've got bills to pay. And I said this in a conversation. We were talking specifically about toxic work environments. And I was careful to say it, but I felt I needed to say it because I'm finding a lot of younger people. I am young, but younger people saying, what do I do if I work in a toxic environment, And my thing was, sometimes you need to stay. Because if you leave your workplace, someone is staying in their toxic environment to make sure that you're taken care of. And I think our generation has lost resilience. and there's a space for resilience, and there's a space for doing what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes that comes with taking campaigns or work that we don't necessarily enjoy. It's not really holistically beneficial in a way, but it brings in the finances, and it doesn't necessarily directly go against our beliefs. So I think there's a time where you get to say no. When I was alone, when I was working as just Mpoomy, then I started being able to say no, I can't take this campaign or not. But now as a business, it's not just about me. So there's certain things that you have to do to keep the business operating. But like I said, have your clear nose. There's clear nose where we don't cross the line. But then there's just, this is not fun. We don't want to show up, but we need to pay the bill. And so even in your corporate career, there is seasons and times. I mean, part of the consequences of me leaving my corporate job was, in the beginning I was making good money, but I didn't want to be there, and so I stopped making money, and so I was broke and frustrated. And we don't talk enough about that on the other side of, oh, I'm free from my toxic job, but on the, will you be able to handle that? So I think we do need a little more resilience, and we need to be open to friction, discomfort, doing stuff you don't like. Social media thinks every day is fun at work. No. Out of 10 times as a CEO and founder, one day is great. The other days I'm solving problems.
Sure. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because resilience, does come in your top 5 skills that we now as recruiters would look for in employees.
Wow.
Resilience is coming out top, because the world of work is changing, and you need to be adaptable. So if you're somebody that can't withstand that constant change, then you are not going to survive. As a visible creator and entrepreneur, how do you stay authentic without feeling too overexposed, especially in this digital space?
Sure.
Because when also you are, and this is because you've mastered it. And I know that it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, and we've had a conversation offline about being overexposed in certain ways. So how do you now protect that? And
I'm glad you're asking these. These are really great. So in terms of being overexposed, I actually wanted to write a post the other day on Instagram, and then I thought, actually, it's not worth it, because I don't think it will be received the way I mean it. And there's something that happens with me personally every time I go through something that makes me want to hide, where I feel like, oh, I'm doing too much, etc., etc. It's like when there's pain, disappointment, etc. in my life, then you feel like a shame that overcomes you, and then it wants to almost take over your work.
Yeah.
And then I had to remind myself that no, my work is visibility. It's not my identity. So that's the first thing, is that it's my work. It's not my identity. However, there is a shame that does come over when I haven't checked myself. But hey, like there was a lady who actually wrote a comment, and it was a bit nasty. Would say, hey, you're doing so much, or just along those lines. And I was just like, oh, maybe I am. Maybe I should take a break. And it kept ringing. So now I felt the need to start hiding and doing less and posting less. And to a certain extent, I did. And then I woke up and I remembered, hi, Bo.
No, man.
This is my work.
Hey.
When you're an accountant, no one says to you, how souls are every day.
Every day.
How you're here every day. It's like, no, it's your job. And I think looking at the likes of, I specifically enjoy Gorgeous Mbali, and even Sinovuyo, how they have their creators like me and business people, but specifically Gorgeous Mbali always talks about you have to be visible. In fact, even DJ Zintle said you have to remove the shame. You have to be visible if you're running a business. And so when you think about it, if I'm going to take advice on visibility, let's go. I think but I won't lie, there is that thing of feeling like, hey, I'm overexposed, and sometimes I think it's necessary to honor it and take a step back, but let there be a separation between your identity and your work.
Sure. That's quite deep.
Yeah.
When you've dropped the ball, or maybe misread a season, because sometimes
hey, baggy,
right? How do you correct course? And you've just alluded to the fact that you are able to lead yourself, and self-leadership is a very big thing. But how do you correct course when you've
Sure. There's an area in my there's a place like a specific tree place that I always walk past. So I take different routes. And funny enough, the one I took today, I remember the prayer I said the last time I walked there, which was a while back.
Yeah.
And I had felt like I misheard God, and I got to that point, to that place, and I said, God, I feel like I misheard you, but I really need you to help me. I really need your mercy.
Sure.
I didn't disobey because I don't honor you. I'm your child,
Sure.
I'm a child. And God covered me in that season. He covered me and he helped me a lot. And today again, I went and I said, God, here's these things, and I'm not sure. Like I don't trust my voice right now, and I need you to help me. Like show me quickly so I can make right. And the point I'm trying to make is that I never ever get to a point where I feel like I know it all and that I'm not prone to mistakes. However, when I feel like I'm losing my way, I'm very quick to run to my Father and say, God, I feel like I'm losing my way and I need mercy.
Sure.
Yeah.
In closing, I know.
No!
Right? I want to go on and on and
Okay.
on and on. But if there's one truth that you want every listener to remember about building a successful life without losing themselves, what would that be?
Sure. Building a successful life without losing yourself. I think part of the journey is losing yourself.
Ooh.
It is part of the journey.
Yes.
What hurts is when we don't acknowledge that I've lost my way, and then you still want to build on and like you want to make this bad thing right or this losing of yourself right, instead of just saying "Ngilahlekile la. Whoa, where do we go to? Left or right? Let's pause. Let's go left or right. But and also don't stay in shame. That's the biggest thing. And even for myself is having to remind myself that shame will keep you stuck. Don't be ashamed. If you've lost your way, if you've made a bad decision, whatever, it doesn't matter how bad it is. Don't get stuck in the shame of it. Acknowledge, do what you can do to do right, but don't get stuck in shame. Shame is the one thing that keeps people stuck.
Sure. You know, the one thing that I'm going to really take with me after this conversation is that you've really just reminded us that balance isn't sort of passive,
No,
but it's very disciplined.
yes. Very disciplined and
Sure.
very decisive. And by not making a decision, you are making a decision of how you want your life to be.
Indecision is a decision.
It's a decision.
Yo, shucks. I don't want this to end, but yeah, this has been the Enlightened podcast. I hope that this episode will also be that reminder for you, or that nudge that your honesty and tools are always a gift. I am your host, Ulia de Kumbuza. Until next time, bye.
Bye.